3, 2, 1. Live.
We are live on YouTube streaming. Arrow Time with Leaf Tech Support and Jeff. We're going to play with some arrows today. Could you go over there and pick up my... So, first off, we need to know if we have a
One
viable.
person.
Good, one person. We need to know if we have audio, decent lighting, you can hear and see. 3. I see a thumbs up. Could you bring that light over, move those baskets and bring that light over? It's kind of dark at the top. I'm going to think about getting a new webcam for doing this. I kind of like this format because I don't have to edit anything. And it's hard getting tech support help. So can I get an audio check? Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Anybody hear us? Anybody there? Anybody there? Oh, good. Stick and string like Paul here. Everything good. Scott Novak, audio is good. Thank you very much. Okay, folks. Today, what we're discussing on Arrow Time, and it just happens to be Arrow Time because I got some new arrows. As many of you know, I like micro diameter arrows. So I'm trying something new. You can see by these large, well, I don't know if you can tell by these large fletchings, but I've got some Instinct Black Eagle. So I bought 6 of their, in a 600 spine, 6 of their pre-fletched, and I had 6 fletched up by 3 Rivers with their 5.5-inch helicals because that makes the world really nice. And it makes a good comparison to the other arrows, the Easton Axis that I have with 5.5 or 5-inch helicals. The only ones I have 4s on are those up there that I did. So these, giving these a try. They're a micro diameter arrow. I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there that know more about this than I do. This is all new to me, this particular brand. They come with these big old 100-grain inserts or outserts. I'm not quite sure. I've cleaned them all up with alcohol already. We're going to glue some of these on. We're going to be sniffing some glue here in a little bit. And these babies go on the outside. Uh-oh, I scratched it up. I might have scratched it up too much. Why doesn't that want to go on there? All right. Okay, I'm going to have to rethink that. Leaf, would you be so kind as to go in the other room and grab a chunk of wood so that I can push down on these, so that I'll be able to push those all the way down when I get the glue on them. So I shoot the vintage one, and they are my go-to arrow. These could be my go-to arrow. I like micro diameters. This collar, oh my gosh, I probably shouldn't have. I scraped it up a little bit, scratched it up for better adhesion. Alcohol. The big chunk of wood that goes by the window, oak, so that I can drive these down. So these inserts are pretty simple to put on, it seems like. So I would have been pretty happy just having 3 Rivers put them on. The Axis insert, I'm really particular about that. I do those a special way, so I do those myself. But as you can see here, I probably should have just let them do these because I'm probably going to make a mess out of this. So, got this piece of wood. I use this when I'm driving arrow heads in. So these brand new Instincts are what we're going to be putting some. Why are they going on so hard? Interesting. Maybe I shouldn't do these all on live because I might be cussing and stuff like that. So what else did I want to talk about? Ooh, played around, did a little work this week on some new tips on my 76er limbs. I had some phenolic canvas micarta that I put and made a little spacer, a little triangle that fit over there. And then I bought some G10 spacers or G10 tip overlays from, I think maybe Three Rivers, Lancaster, somebody bow making stuff. And I put the black one on the inside, or well, black one where the string's going to go, and the red linen one on the outside. And ground those down a little. I still have to cut some notches in and do the finish forming. Hope to get to that sometime in the next week on these two sets of limbs.
Scott Novak would like to know what's the outer diameter of these arrows versus the Easton axis.
That's a good question. So these OD are so these, I think it's a 166 ID. What is this? This is a looks like a 232 OD. And this is a 600. They're both 600s. And these are running the axis are running 250. I'm going to call that 8 or 9. There's a slight irregularity to it. Huh. So that 250, they're a little thinner. Not sure how they're going to handle. So you're seeing them as soon as I am. But whoop, don't shake my foot like that because it shakes the whole. So Paul, he likes these two. We're going to see how well they work. It could be my new go-to arrow to replace the axis. Not sure. Ask questions, and I will jump all around the place. Again, I'm wondering if I should try to jam those on there or wait and sand them down. What could go wrong doing this live? So we'll try a few. A little bit of tin foil. That's what I like to use as a base. My current favorite still tip insert glue is the Easton. I bought this big, instead of having the blister packs, I bought this big one. If anybody knows out there, I know this is a little brownish. I would think it'd be better to have it clear. I don't know if it's always brownish or if this is an older. It's been working great. I still have some blister packs. I was using, what is this? 30-06 or something like that, this black stuff for a while. I've tried a bunch of different things. Insert weld. This was okay. It's much quicker than this, but so far this has worked the best. Got any chemists out there that know about different glues or glue engineers, bonding engineers? I'm wondering how far off this might be from CA60. Well, actually, I just used the CA60, CA40, smooth on epoxy to put these on. But it seems brittle when it dries. This seems, and that's even before it went through any kind of heat box stuff. I made cure cards. My cure card's a fancy piece of, and I check it and bend it and see how it cures. So a little bit of this. This has a nice long working time, so I can talk, make mistakes, get it all over myself. A little bit of this on the tin foil. So one of the things I noticed is these outserts are really, they're really tight. So I can't, the glue line is going to be real small, that's always a good thing to have the smallest glue line that you can have. And without starving thing, I just put it like that and hang it back up. So it's all ready to go. And I take some little sticks, break them apart, and mix up the glue. We're going to be sniffing some glue here, folks.
Are the prices the same compared to the
Ah,
axes?
you had to ask that. No. Where's my receipt? Is the receipt in the box? I think they're a bit cheaper than the Axis, but they're, by the time you're done, all said and done, they're not that far different. What's Axis? About 180, a full set, all inserted and all that. And I knew people were going to ask that. So the fletched ones are, we'll just call it 73 bucks for half a dozen. So 146 for a full dozen. But these actually cost more. Having them fletched up by Three Rivers, they cost more. So I would make this the standard to compare to. Well, that's what I'm going to do. And they came in at 80, so we'll just call it 88 bucks. 88, 160, another 16, one free. Feel free to ask a question.
That was just me.
Oh.
Yeah.
So where was I? I was 88, 88, 16, 61, 76. I think they end up coming in pretty close to the same. You can go right on Three Rivers and list it out. I think the Three Rivers that are in those, the traditional only, within 10 or 20 bucks. I try not to cheap out on arrows. But if an inexpensive arrow works, I just started shaking my foot again. If an inexpensive arrow works for you, like, where did I put them? I actually have some Predator 2s that I had cleaned up, and I have the inserts all cleaned and ready to go over here. Oh, I put them on the stove to put them on the stove to get dried out really well. So there we go. So let's try one of these babies. So what I often do is take a piece of paper towel and cut lots and lots of little strips out so that I have a lot of little pieces of cloth to wipe with. And let's give one of these babies a try. So one of the things I noticed is since the insert has a hole in it, you probably don't want to get too much in the inside or it could jam up where your tip is going to go on. Another thing I noticed, I thought they said these were 9/32, but as I look at these, I don't know that I'm going to want to put 9/32 on there. I think I'm going to want to put 5/16 easy pulls. Oh yeah, that's going on there nice. So just take a little piece of this. So I will dabble and play with glue while questions come in. So do we have any other questions? You know what, I have another thing to babble about until questions come in. I found out another interesting thing. Maybe other people know them. Another item I got this week, Boning Anox, which fit Easton Axis X's. I haven't put them on there yet, but what they do is they're a little wider. They're a little wider point, excuse me, a little wider knot. So some other people probably have experience with this. So it's a little wider. So this would fit a string that a GT Trad would fit. So if you get some Easton Axis and your string's a little too thick for them, grab a set of these up. Grab a set of these up. Try a set of these. See what you think about them. No questions? Okay, gluing and babbling. What else do we have going on around here? Can you think of other things that we're working on? Why do you have so many bows? Because I have a problem? That's a good question, because I don't want to just try out a bow, a couple times and say that I have a feeling for it. A bow, I feel you have to have a bow and you have to play with it a while to get a feeling for it. And I have a hard time letting them go. I really, really should let some of the bows go. In fact, the top one's a Bear Paw Marksman. Behind the Viper is a Savannah. I have a couple of White Wolves over there I should let go. I just shot it the other day. So, but I have a hard time letting go of my bows. And if there's any fuss or muss about selling it, I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm not that great at selling bows. Yeah, look at that. So let's take a look at this. So I thought they said a 9/32 is what you should use on there, but I don't know about that. And I'm thinking the 5/16 PDPs might work a little better. I had one laid out here to show you, and then I put it away or something. So I'm thinking these are going to be a better point for this. See how they come up and then they slope down a little? That feels like it's going to be an easier pull and a little bit better. So Paul, you've experienced these. Do you use the 5/16 or do you use the 9/32 points on your instinct arrows? I'm the same issue. Scott, yeah, that is a problem. Someday I'm going to sell some of these bows. You just watch. My wife's been after me for a while to kind of thin the herd out, and I really should. Are you like here? Show everybody my wife's bow, Sharon's bow. I just bought her a bear. If you've seen some of the other videos, so I told her she needed her own bow, and she actually did because the draw weight of everything else I had around here was too high for her. So I got this nice bear for her, and it's acceptable. She wouldn't shoot a 76 or a Minuteman, anything like that. It had to be pretty wood for her. So I got her that, and that was a pretty good deal. I was going to make her string for that this weekend, and I haven't shot the Instinct yet, just the standard. Oh, so I guess I read that wrong. The vintage arrow. Oh, I thought the 001s were the Instinct and the other ones were 3 or 6. So yeah, yeah, you have to correct me on that. I looked at the other Black Eagle arrow, but I like the micro diameter. Since I switch bows so much, having an arrow that's smaller in diameter and closer to center shot, even if the bow is not close to center shot, it puts the center of the arrow a little bit closer, and I find it a little bit easier to tune. They just seem to fly a little bit better. What do you call that when you, what are you punking me? What are you, photo bombing me? He's bombing me. So what are you playing with there, Leaf? Tell everybody what you're playing with. What are those balloons, and what are we going to do with those balloons? So I got those balloons. I got a whole package of them, and here's what I thought I would do. So I don't know if people have noticed that Eastern Traditional Archer Rendezvous people will put stuff out on the practice field. They'll kind of goof around, and somebody will put a can out there. And I had this idea of getting these little water balloons, and then making up a mixture of food dye, red food dye and water, and hanging them in the kill zones of the targets. And then when you hit it, the kids watch the red water fall out. We could also pop them too, make a little pop sound. But yeah. And do we have questions? I don't make straightness vintage arrow anymore. Only the 3s and 5s. Okay, only the 3s and 5s. But it wasn't the 1s and 3s and stuff. It's the diameter, because I've always been amazed at. I'm sure it helps some people having the really super accurate arrows. I'm not that good a shot, so it doesn't matter. Um, and an example is shooting a bamboo arrow with big nodes, and the thing still flies straight. That always amazed me. So you will get an arrow. Arrows can be built differently. You'll get one that'll just fly funny. Should I get these tribbles off of me? Uh, tech support is. I'm glad tech support's being entertained. So these look like they're going to be fun. I'm going to give those a try tomorrow.
I'll let you in on a little secret. Somebody I know bought a bear manufactured bow, and you may get to see it in a week or so. I won't mention any names or anything,
but it's their first bear. They prefer other ones. Don't say any names. So do we have questions? Things? I haven't shut these things yet. All right. Bubbles. Yeah. How about bubbles? I use the Victory. Now that would be yeah, that was what I was going to try is the VAP. So what do you think of the VAPs? I was going to try that for some of those arrows on my G2. And they had the nice sale at Lancaster, and I debated, and I still may get some for my wife, some thousands, or I may have some, just some, what do you call those? Jazz is built up for her. Ooh, this one's going on really hard. Ooh, right on. There it goes. So the VAP, yeah, the Victory's another. I have very little experience with the Victory arrows yet so far, but I like what I've seen. I bought a set of 3 used, really good price, and I'm liking those. I like the way they're built, but jumping platforms. So when you go to something else like this, so you start using different outserts. If it's more durable, I'm all about it. But then you start getting different knocks, and points are fine, but I also color code by knocks. I usually take and make all my 600s white, all my 500s yellow. Then the 800s, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do on those 7s and 8s. And then 4s would be orange, but these came in orange, so I got to change the knocks. Again, because I'm jumping around, grabbing different bows, grabbing different arrows. I like to quickly see which arrow I'm using. And an odd thing happened. I like the way the Venoms fly, those bamboo, where they're over there. But when I shot them out of my 76er, well, it's got 2 different limbs. They weren't flying very well, so I don't know if it was out of balance, or I don't know what was going on, but they just weren't flying like I was used to them flying. So I grabbed the 3 Rivers arrows, a little thicker spine, especially because I'm shooting a little to the right, a little thicker, diameter, puts the center out a little bit. And I shot 600s and 500s, and they flew about the same. Obviously, the 500s had heavier points and dropped a little more. But Victory uses the Boning A knock. Wow. Well, then that would be the X knock. So that's yeah, I got to look at those Victory VAPs, and I was going to look at the Victory. I saw some traditional ones they had. But now, being traditional, I just like light-colored arrows. Because I shoot instinctive, silly me, I'm not looking at the arrow, but the lightness gets picked up in my peripheral vision for aiming. Someday I'm going to learn how to do that gapping or one of those kind of aiming techniques, string walking and putting the point on it. But until then, I actually have some black arrows that I was even thinking about just spray painting some white on it to see if it made a difference, because it usually takes me a long time of cause and effect and watching things to realize, hey, wait a minute, yeah, these arrows I shoot better than those arrows, the lighter versus the darker, And what was really interesting is taking photos and realizing that some longbows, when I draw and I'm in close, the riser, if it's not cut far enough, actually covers my right eye at, like the 10 to 12, to 10 to 15 yard range, and I never knew it. My left eye would make up the difference, but then every once in a while you shoot an arrow a little funny. So it takes me a while to learn these things like cause and effect, and I have to go try things out. Let's see if I missed any. Tech support ran it. Do you use 569? Oh, that stick and string was asking somebody else, I think, because I don't have. Oh, the victories that I do have are 5/16s. Flew beautiful. If that was the question, they flew beautiful. I can't fault them at all. They look like a great arrow or a nice manufactured. One downfall, I kind of like to try to buy American. Too many explanatives at once. I don't think these are not made in the United States. I don't think. 'Cause on the Three Rivers page, they didn't say that, but the Axis are. And there comes point. Everybody has to make their choices, and I was very tempted to try out the $70 a dozen carbon arrows from China, and thought, man, should I? And I didn't do it. I said, no, I'm not chipping out on those.
I was saying 15, 16 points.
Oh, he uses the 15/16 points. I do use 15 on my vape micros. Do they have this outsert? Stainless steel outsert that goes over the shaft, and on it must be a metric thing, because it says 5.87 on it. So I don't know who makes this little outsert, if it comes out of Europe, or they have it made some offshore place. Yes, it's an insert outsert. I was saying 5/16. Yeah, I'm definitely going with those babies on there. So we'll give that a try, because otherwise you're going to have the 9/32 are going to hit and have a little ridge right there. So, but they do, well, I'll look it up later and find out. I could have sworn they said that it was supposed to be a 9/32 point. So if this works out well, then you would kind of wonder, gee, can I machine up some of these babies for my Easton Axis, and how would they work that way? I know that part of it is supposed to be the penetration because it's thinner, but this kind of combination on those venoms seems to fly pretty darn well. Disrupts the wind, does whatever it does, creates non-laminar or laminar flow, and I don't know. And they fly well. Some arrows fly well, just inherently or psychologically. It could all be in my head. It could psychologically fly better, one group of arrows than another. And I've tried a bunch. You can see I try a bunch of different arrows. I don't jump on the bandwagon. I would have been on the GT bandwagon, but I just have not jumped on it. I have GTs. I shoot GTs, but yeah, I'm not the perfect fanboy. There goes that sponsorship possibility, right?
Do you want to lower your camera?
What's that?
Do you want to lower your camera?
Why? What is it looking at? Oh, to show what I'm playing with? Or like that? Is that what you mean? Is that what is?
Maybe a little more, so yeah, they can see what you're doing.
Or I can scrunch closer. We got balloons, just as long as I don't try to start shooting them. So, have you been checking to?
Yeah, there haven't been that many comments and questions.
Nope, not many questions. Trying the boning knocks. Gonna work on those tips for the 76er. They cracked the little plasticky thing. I mean, what can you expect? 40 some odd years old, and oh, wait a minute, it's more than that. Plastic, and it just takes a beating, and it cracks. Some of them, yeah. So this is going along rather well. Oh, wait a minute. Are they all under here? Yep, they're still under here. These inserts. And out of all the longbows you have, shoot, which is the smoothest draw? So much easier, but longbows are so much, look so much better. Yeah, how about that? That's my opinion too. There's something. So there's Longbow Alley up there. Smoothest. That's a tough call. What do you think, Leaf? The Omega?
Which Omega?
Either Omega. I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe the Omega.
My favorite looking one is the Dwyer Dauntless right there. Oh, that's Leaf's bow. Smoothest. That's a tough call. The Savannah might be if I didn't have such long arms, but it stacks for me. The Viper still stacks for me a little bit. And mind you, that's my perception, and it has to do with string angle, and it's only minutely. It's not like a wall stacking. It just starts to build. That's one of the reasons I like the 76er so much, because those cheesy fiberglass are mushy and they don't stack. They're just like mushy all the way along. So it doesn't create tension in my brain to want to release that. Some people can target panic, shot anticipation. Your body's saying is not enjoying the feeling, so it's saying get rid of the arrow, get rid of the arrow. So even heavier bows that are mushy don't feel as heavy and don't make me do that. Where bows that start right off heavy and just only increase a little bit, but are heavy, or bows that increase asymptotically, like really quick, and build at the end, they make me want to release sooner than I really should. So out of the long bows, I guess I'm going to go with the Omegas. They're pretty long. I bet the Dwyer Dauntless would be in there. The RK1. I don't own one of those. Oh, that was a recurve. I didn't shoot the longbow. The Wind Warrior. What about the Wind Warrior, Leaf?
Is that considered?
It is
Depends on
considered
what
a
you
longbow,
choose
but
to
it's got
consider a
wicked
longbow.
reflex deflex. So, what's the other question? Howdy, Hutchie. How's it going? Should I recap? Since you just jumped on, playing with some arrows. I got some Instinct from Black Eagle. These fletched by Three Rivers. These are their stock ones. Talked a little bit about my putting tips on the 76er limbs. I was fiddling with that this week. We talked about boning knocks, and I'm gluing on some inserts, these new inserts.
Ray wants to know whether you're going to Denton
You
Mills.
betcha. You bet we're going to shoot with you, Ray. We're going to get out there and go shooting. We're going. Oh, we got stuff planned. I got whistling arrowheads. We got, see these balloons back here, the boys filling up. We're going to put little water balloons on the target with red stuff. You bet. What else? Got some lights. Show them the neat lights. What is
Lights.
Mr. McPeak?
Oh,
He showed me one. I had to go buy some of these like little reactors. So here, check. Yeah, you can show that while I glue this insert on. We're gonna have lights. Leaf and I may try to go even earlier to try to get a good campsite. The reactor lights. Oh, we're definitely going to Denton Hills. Greg's going, Jim's going. I don't know if Joey, I think Joey's going. Who else? Ba, 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 ba. I don't know if Tim's where are you? I think he's fielding it a lot. He's really field archery. And maybe he'll come and visit with us. Ordinary trad archers. Put up with our shenanigans and come to Etar. I'm 6'3" and have a 31.5 inch. So finding a short longbow. Oh yeah, I would say so. That is a challenge.
So why?
Why get a short? Why get a short longbow? Get a long one. Baby is in there. Hutchie's wondering how short it is. It didn't come out right, did it? So we're gluing away, sniffing glue. Again,
Hachi says shortest longbow I've shot is 66-inch bear paw Penthlon.
I haven't tried that. I don't think I shot that one. I shot the other one, the real common one, the slick stick. I thought about getting one of those, but it's close enough to a bunch of other bows that I have that I couldn't justify it. It doesn't fit a niche I don't have, unless I got a custom one. I think they stopped the custom ones. I'm not sure. Custom take apart slick stick, maybe. I'm 60.
Hachi says, when are you getting properly into thumb draw again?
You know, Hachi, probably. Hold on just a second.
Get another.
Probably about the time I learned how to do string walking. I've played with them a little bit. So many things to try. I've shot just a few shots here and there with thumb rings. I applaud you for going out there and having all that fun. That I was thinking about trying to learn left-handed thumb. Go figure that out. Just because I don't have the ingrained shooting things that I shoot on the right-hand side, in this ingrained habits, methods, bad habits. But so many things. There's only so much time, so I haven't really explored that very well, the thumb ring thing. But it's on my list of things to do. In fact, can you reach up there? I don't want to jump in front of the camera again. Could you reach that bow? Pretty please.
There's a cherry on top.
I can treat him well. I don't know if I can treat him poorly. It's probably not nice, but tech sport's going to get paid for helping me out. That's how I'm.
Still don't know how much though.
I don't know. Look, a you finish horse bow that I haven't finished. We shot this a bunch without finishing it. You can see the marks on it. So I've got this baby all set up for. Want to grab that bow up there, please? So I have the bow. And I want to make I haven't decided if I'm going to leave it that way or if I'm going to. I originally thought I'd build up the handle for my big, because I have kind of big paws. I can shoot it like this, but why not make it bigger? I blew it when I got this one because I should have got the Kaya with the shelf on both sides, horsebow thingy, horsebow, whatever they call this. Leaf used to shoot this. We haven't been shooting this. This is another one of those bows. Look, dust on it. I should really have sold so that somebody else could play with it because I hardly ever play with it. Ding. Could you put that back? So there I go, chasing. There goes that squirrel, the thumb ring squirrel. And glasses so I can see what I'm doing. We're still gluing here, folks. Still sniffing. Again, I'm pretty. I'll talk about the virtues of a company or a product if I really like it. I don't get paid. I like this glue. This still has worked equal or better than any other glue. When these are brand new, I tried a few different. They seem to work okay, but then I've had failures on that. I don't remember why, and I don't keep that great of notes. I'm not doing a science experiment here. We're just playing. So I generalize about things, but I have not had any bad luck with it to date. And just like Three Rivers Fletching, I was reading up. So as I was looking through these arrows, I decided to see what people said about the difference between an Axis and the Three Rivers Traditional, and everybody who wrote in on the Axis loved them. I think there's 6 or 7 reviews. On the Three Rivers Traditional only, there's like 150, 130, 150 something, a lot of reviews, and it comes in pretty darn high. So the cost benefit value for dollar, but one of them I saw written that they said that, and it was funny, it was on a different arrow. Oh, I wish it wasn't fletched by Three Rivers. It would have been a good arrow. Like, what? I've had great luck with Three Rivers. I say that now. Watch this. So where was I going with that? How did I get there? Was there a question that started that ramble? That squirrel I was just chasing, Leaf?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Hutchie says you should finish off that horse bow.
Yeah. I've been saying that for a couple of years. So I actually brought it up here to start putting some finish on it. Yeah, I'll get to that. I have far too many projects. And what am I doing? I'm gluing this. I could have paid like $3-4 and had them glue these things on already for me. Does it really make any difference? I'm building my own arrow. I'm getting experience. Oh, that one went on nice.
Do you have a preferred brand of feathers?
Absolutely. True Flight. I prefer them. Oh, I don't want to malign any other. That's my preferred. That is the preferred. But I guess it doesn't do you any good if I tell you that. But then I don't tell you what other brands. Definitely True Flight. And I believe that's what these are. But I've tried. Should I say all the other brands? I went less expensive, and I've tried Gateway and I tried Bear Paw. I have all those, but I like the True Flight best. That's all I can say about that. Any other things? Do you prefer brand? Yep. They are fantastic. Gateways are not. Yeah, they're not bad. Bear Paw good. Bear Paw, I find Oh. You know who I'm not going to get sponsored by? Ozark. Ozark fletchings. Oh my gosh. Oh, I shouldn't say bad things. Tim had some of those Ozark something. Oh my gosh, it looked like a beaver chewed him. There goes that sponsorship.
Oh, and there was the Ozark Whiz, the sound that it made.
Oh, I don't know. I'm it's cool to make arrows that make sound, and
I don't think they were supposed to.
and you know, I've cut some funny shapes. He repurposed them. He thought I was jealous of his fletching. He repurposed some of the some of the arrows, the fletching design to a shield cut or something like that. Arrow talk, where we're brutally honest. And we don't have any sponsors yet. We can be bought.
I wonder why we don't have any sponsors.
So, do you cut from full length feathers? And if so, how? I have not much. Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss something? I have about 1 and 5 bear paw fletchings are no use. Do you cut from full length? I have cut from full length. I've used choppers. I actually have a feather burner. I've hardly ever used it. So I have done some full length. And we have a chopper for Leafs arrows. Which are those? It's probably only 1 or 2 left of your Easton Jazz. I have like a 2 or 3 inch shield chopper that I bought for his arrows specifically, and he'd let him get to beat the heck out of the feathers and glue them on. Excuse me, he only tapes them on. I haven't let him play with glue yet. I figured, you know, as kids grow up, you should keep them away from that kind of thing. Keep them away from glue. Would you be so kind as to retrieve the arrows that are on the stove, drying and keeping warm? I like indoor Ozark feathers. I tried there. Target Max 4.5. Yeah, I don't know the Target Max. I looked at, they had some that looked kind of cool that I thought I'd try, but I never got around to it. You know, if you look at what most people fletch, a helical 5-inch, and this is generalization for an all-around 3D hunting, whatever arrow. If you're shooting long distances, yeah, you're going to want to reduce your drag. You're going to get your arrow tuned a little better and make a smaller fletching. But if you're just starting out and you're just learning, 5-inch helical is it'll cover up stuff too. That's the other thing. It'll cover up mistakes. It'll cover up improper spine to some degree. It'll clean up some of your release because it's stabilizing the arrow and spinning it. Leaf, could you get those arrows? I want to put inserts in them before the glue hardens up. So yeah, how about that? We'll put it in a shooting glove. Ray, I thought I went over this. Oh, Leaf, could you grab the box of shooting gloves by the downstairs?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the glove question. There was a question about gloves.
Okay, could you right by the door to go down to the cellar? Oh, look at. Okay, shooting gloves. This is easier than doing a whole. You know, I was going to do a thing on shooting gloves. Right now, the black one over there on my quiver, it's kind of hard to see, is a bear paw. That's what I've been shooting all winter, bear paw black. It's a synthetic. This one, this is a newer one with some little dots on it. I don't know if it's the same as that, but I keep a spare one. I always carry it with me, even when I'm shooting the marten or the bear paw, like lighter colored leather that I've been using for years for rain. I think everybody should have one of these for rain, because if you run in a leather glove and it rains and it's all just leather, it gets mushy. And one of my next favorites, antagonizing the poor cat, the recently was a makeup glove or something like that. It was a cheapy Lancaster one, but I really like the way it feels. Before that, it was the Martin or Bear Paw kind of plain brownish ones. Actually, I don't know where they're. Maybe they're in the bag in here. Leaf's running American Leathers. You want to show them your American Leathers? Now, if you can shoot a big pad, that doesn't bother you. But I find that I'm so ingrained with the way I anchor that any little change in the thickness of the shooting glove really messes with me, which is, I didn't realize I was so finicky.
Where's my clipper?
No, that's a good question. Right there.
What?
The arrows are pulled out. Mom was using them.
Oh,
Da-da-da. So I was running one of these style Bear Paws for the longest time. Bear Paw, Martin. I think they're both made in Germany. Don't like the Damascus. Too thin. So that's an interesting thing. Everybody, Damascus. I hear people saying, "Oh, I want it thin. I want to feel the string." Why do you want to feel the string? Why? I don't get it. The other thing is, if you get a nice Cordova or something like that, the string is going to come off there so much smoother. The string comes off of that black Bear Paw really smooth. It's great in wet weather. The only problem I have with it is so slippery. When I'm grabbing arrows, I grab them by the nock. I can just throw them because it slips right out of my hand. Where a leather, I can grab a hold of it and slam into the thing. American Leathers, they would be a great sponsor, but I don't shoot such a heavy sty. What do they call this thing? Leaf likes it. So if you can shoot a thick thing like this, this is going to be your best bet. It's going to protect your fingers. The string's going to come off really smooth. She ask about gloves, and I go kind of. So and I try all these. So it's kind of like bows. I buy them, try them. I got a kangaroo glove that was supposed to go in here too. That was a little thick and a little mushy. I have this Bear Paw. I was going to go to this Bear Paw. I tried gloves and tried gloves. This is the one that there's a hilarious story about this. Should I tell them the group home story? So this baby, I've almost got broken in. I haven't started shooting it in, but you can see how it fits my fingers. I like the weight's just a touch heavier. And it's amazing. Because of the way I anchor, and don't anchor like me, find a better way, please, folks. When I release just a little bit thicker glove will actually drive the string into my eye tooth, and it starts giving me a fat lip. That's how tight it's gotten with the way I shoot. Pick something else though. Don't push like this like I do. It can scrunch your eye. But so that's shooting gloves. Bear Paw Black, number one to always have on your quiver, and then something with a nice leather, smooth leather, midweight is what I like best. Everybody's different. You've got to try them out. That's why we have a bag of gloves. We've tried all different kinds of gloves. Oh, there's your American Leather. Of course, he gets to shoot the $50, $60 glove.
you bought it first and then didn't like
I know.
it.
I bought it and I couldn't break into it. And then we went looking for gloves for him, and I said, try this one, and try that one. And he said, well, I kind of like that one. I said, yeah, great. Here, I got one at home. Use this. So he uses the Big Shot. It's an elk Big Shot. Did any more questions come in? Did I answer the questions about gloves? Did I? How far back was that question? And we now have these, so I can start putting these.
All of the other questions that far back have been answered.
They have?
Yeah. That was just one that you kept on talking and didn't have a chance to squeeze it in.
I have Brightline 3, Gateway Parabolics. So parabolics. Oh, we could talk shield and parabolic, right? I have been led to believe that parabolics are better aerodynamic wise, and it would make sense than Shield. I like Shield. I think they look cool. Kids. I just like Shield, so I just go Shield on everything. So, but if you like parabolics, go with what you like. Go with what you know. I should get another. So now I'm putting some inserts in some Carbon Express Predator 2s, I believe. I believe they're Carbon Express. And these are just some bear shafts to try out to see how the higher grain load, how the higher spine work, and if I like them or not. And so I'll make up 3 bear shafts and have those around to try out. Any other questions? Well, I'm Big Shot user. Yep, Big Shot's awesome. I try the skinny fingers, deal breaker for me. Didn't fit, I think. A neat. Yeah, neats are good. Oh, one of the things, so the neat is what I used to use first, that just cover the end of your finger. There's some in there. There should be. And there was a bunch of the small ones. Leaf's been through a bunch of them. Oh, here we are. Is this one a neat? Yeah. Yeah. They work nice. I was pretty happy with those until I started doing timed end, where you had to shoot accurately as many arrows as you could. And then I wanted a palm, the glove, that leather that comes over the whole palm when you're grabbing it, so you don't do. I'm pretty spastic and get caught under there. But these are great. They work fine. But I just started using full palm gloves, and that's what I get now. Okay. Shield guy 2, just wanted to try. Oh yeah, try them all. Skinny paws. All right, we're gluing up. We're still gluing inserts here, folks. Epoxying some inserts. We're getting something done and talking. Could probably come up with even more stuff to say if I wasn't fiddling. I could look at the audience and see how they're doing out there if I wasn't fiddling with these inserts and these arrows. But we're getting lots done, and I don't have to edit, and having fun talk. Oh, that one I've already done. Depth perception is out. Yeah.
Do you ever fit protectors on either end of your shaft?
I've played a little bit. So I'm assuming it's collars, and yes, I have. I have, and I've done it a couple different ways, and pardon me while I take this reach. Oh, I don't have one in here. Oh, I thought I had them in here. Oh, well, so yes, I have. There's been a couple types. One, taking aluminum arrows that have the right ID for the carbon you're using, and I just happened to find one, and I just done it on the Predator 2, couple on, because they had split, and I actually repaired them more than just sleeved them. I bought these. I bought these store-bought ones for Axis, and I don't know. Wasn't I don't know why I don't like them as much as. Yeah, that's funny. Why I don't like them? I'm not sure why I don't like them when I'm just switching to a big monster insert like that. I don't know. I kind of like the little piece of aluminum on there. I actually had some, I don't know where they were, on the back also, the back collar, because occasionally they'll split. That's pretty rare for me. I'll break an arrow here before I'll break them here. Very few for me break back here, but I'm shooting mostly axis. So I don't know. So I have used these, and these are store-bought collars, and I don't know why I would go with a little piece of aluminum arrow over this, but these are kind of stumping arrows. They're flu, as Chris calls it, my toilet bowl brush here. So, I guess that answers that question. Protector always medium shaft. Collars for stumps. Yeah, if I damage an arrow, it's almost always a split in the knock end. Huh. So I've hit my fair share of rocks with Easton X's, and I haven't blown out so many of the back ends of Easton X's where I have on other brands. Probably it's quantity arrow shot. They don't tend to split there for me as much. I've had some really interesting compression fractures right about here. I've also had fractures where it's a tree and breaks there or hits something, but I've had some interesting compression fractures. I actually save a bag of them. I should look at them under a microscope someday if I want to pretend to do quasi.
Larry Travis asks, have you ever thought about leather quivers?
I have one. I built one. I made one. Do you want to run down
This one or the other one?
Oh, so tech support's going to tell us about leather quivers. So why don't you jump in here and tell us about this nice leather quiver that he got from his archery coach. So what do you like about it? What do you think about it?
I like it. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
What am I supposed to say about it?
I don't know. What do you think about them? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? They're
pretty nice. If you
cool.
lay on it, it's more likely to bend your arrows, but it's more comfortable. Like you can sit in a chair with that on your back, and it just smush sort of.
What about summertime?
The summertime, it does get hotter, but in the wintertime, it's sort of closer to your back. I don't know.
So I also have, I like leather. I built one, but I like the basket. The basket all around is my favorite. You kind of notice if you've seen any videos. I've been running that one for what, 4 or 5 years? That same quiver. About that. So I originally wanted to get leather. I forgot the guy's name. There's a few different leather quivers I really like.
Did you move the camera?
Yeah, I did. I moved it at you. I'm supposed to come back down to the arrow that I'm working on. Yeah. Let's see. I was looking at the Rasher quiver. I was looking at Hide Handler or something like that. A really fancy high-end quiver where you could put stuff in it. Had strings for putting stuff on the outside. It had a hood you could put on the top if you wanted. I looked at that, and it's not cheap. I looked at those for a long, long time. But then I start realizing you're going to start putting some weight into that baby. I had an Elite quiver that I didn't like the strap on and I like the concept, all enclosed behind you reach out. If I were a hunter, maybe, or if I hunted a lot, the leather, heavier. Yeah, so I've looked at leather. But I prefer the basket. You know, if you yeah, if you were in really harsh terrain or something, maybe the leather would be much better. But if you're shooting 3D and playing around and shooting indoors, so the basket works fine, nice and light in the summertime. Wintertime, the snow falls in it, melts, goes through, rain goes through it. You don't have to, you know, you have to take care of the leather strap. Obviously, I don't know how many times I've redone that leather strap because it gets wet, dried out. But yeah, leathers are cool. I like them. They look nice. Again, the hide handler, the rasher. I was looking at all those. And what do you have? What's it? So I'd consider it nice 76 shirt. Nice 76er-ish. Is that the one with the denim riser with the two different limbs from two different? I don't know if you've been Standing Bear. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I have two sets of limbs that I cracked the tips on. So one of each of those is on that bow, and I'm playing around with redoing these tips. So somebody was asking about that one time. So Larry Travis. Yeah, so hopefully it's a lot of work for an inexpensive bow. That's all I got to say about that. You know, the solid fiberglass limbs, I like them because it was like part of my childhood. But like a lot of other Bear things, it's the mystique, it's the feeling, it's what you really like about it that makes them special. Some people would argue they're not that special. Just saying, you know, it's what you like to shoot. So people in the chat, where are you from? Let's see, Jeff is describing the countries. It's quest world domination. It sounds like something Greg would write. Norway here. Hello from Norway. Scotland. World domination.
How are we getting world domination?
I don't know. It sounds like something Greg would say. So, world. I have 3 of those left and 3 arrows left. Still working on inserts. These are the Carbon Express. Carbon Express making up some Bear shafts.
How many arrows do you lose per shoot?
You know, that's a tough call. I can go 3, I don't know, what do you see me go 2-3 months without losing an arrow? Leaf?
Yeah.
And then I go to a shoot like Appalachian Bowman shoot, Pennsylvania Bow Hunters Festival. Both of those shoots, I lose and wreck a lot of arrows. Yeah, they're hard on my arrows because I start trying shots that I don't normally do, shots that are on moving targets, shots that the moving targets might be held up with steel rods. I hit the silly running deer steel rod 3 times, was it? 3 times, broke 3 arrows. It's this rod this big whizzing down it. How do I keep hitting that one rod? So it varies. It varies. That set of multicolor arrows I've had 3, 4 years, 4 years, 5 years, but I'm very careful when I shoot them. I don't take chances with them. I do take chances with my Carbon Expresses. I break more of those than anything else because I take chancier shots. They're not as strong, but really super intentional shots. Those Easton Axis 500s that I fletched, I haven't lost or broken a single one of those. I don't shoot them as much, but I'm very, very deliberate about how I shoot those. So, and there is no special formula for losing and breaking arrows per per shoot. Missing, I'd say I miss minimum 2 to 3 arrow targets per shoot, Leaf. What would that be? The way I'm shooting now?
2 targets per shoot, maybe.
So when we're doing silly shots, it's something real small, and we start taking a lot. That's how it's like, how many arrows did I shoot? Where did they go? That's how I tend to lose on more novelty style targets.
Do you ever put rope in your arrow shaft?
I don't. I don't have a need to try to increase the mass weight of my arrows. So, oh my gosh, I just looked up an hour and 10 minutes. How can I talk so much? I can't believe it. It seems like 10 minutes. Maybe not to everybody else, but to me it does. I love talking about arrows and playing with bows and ask a question. I'll go off chasing another tangent like you can't believe. How do people like this free form arrow talk, just BS, play with things, versus where I try to be somewhat coherent and explain something about one item and have like, I'm never very good at that, am I? So, okay, you don't have to answer that. So up there I go. I shook my foot again. What's with that? What is with that? We're getting down here. Questions about arrows, bows, gloves, nocks, strings, targets, fletching. I may not have an answer. If not, I'll make up one real quick or just defer. Look at that. Oh, you can't see it. Gluing these babies together. Good night there, Hutchie. It's got to be pretty late over there in Scotland about now, because, you know, normally this would be close to my bedtime. Just saying, on a weeknight. Dun, dun, dun.
Ray says, what is your aiming system?
Oh, I thought I explained this. Poor. Yeah, it's pretty much, I don't want to use the term because other people, I use instinctive aim. I know. It's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, but like some people claim it is. I use instinctive aiming. I just kind of look at the target, see things in my peripheral vision. It's fun, but yeah, that's what I use. Can you tell the way I miss and like totally blow things? And so if you're new out there, I would advise you to learn to shoot 3 under, learn to gap or string walk. You will be more accurate. Whatever it is you do, as long as you're having fun with it, go with it. If you get frustrated and not having fun, you know, maybe improve it. If you find it too frustrating to try to get really precise and you want to just shoot with no knock, shoot with a Hungarian flip tab. Oh, where is it? If you want to shoot just generally in the direction of things, go out stumping, having fun, go for it. I'm not one that's gonna, although I always try to shoot better, but if you're new, I would say, or you really want to advance, I would definitely say learn bare bow style of shooting, string walking, aiming, having used the point to aim. One of the reasons I got back into archery is I used to be a pretty precise small bore and large bore shooter, and I shot some pistol. And one of the things I noticed as I get older is my hands, the way sighting, I can't believe the amount of tremors and shakes in my body. So I can't see that when I shoot instinctive archery. So it doesn't bother me. In fact, if I looked at how I held a pistol at a 50-yard or a 20-yard target, and I kept that in my mind, and I shot a bow, it makes me wonder, how the heck can I shoot a bow as well as I do sometimes, knowing how much my body shakes and tremors, and my eyesight's not what it used to be. I used to have 20/15 vision. That was great. It really helps when you're an accuracy shooter. So instinctive aim, that's the answer. Short answer. Okay, that baby's done. So I've managed to place all these new outserts on these new instinctive arrows. Some fletched by Three Rivers, some a 3-inch. So we'll get to, oh, guess what? These are my first right wing fletch. Let's see if they really are right wing. I didn't look. Yeah, these are my first right wing fletched arrows. So I just did left because I could get more variety of fletching in left wing when I bought my first fletching jig. Then Three Rivers does left wing mostly. So this is my first set that I remember. Ooh, actually, I might have some GTs. I never even looked at them. That could be right wing. So anyhow, have you ever used a clicker? Yes, I have a little bit, and it's a great idea. Using a non-anticipatory trigger is a great idea. Using a clicker as a non-anticipatory trigger is fantastic because it gets you to the same exact spot each time when the clicker goes off. So you're draw checking and using it as, and if you use it as a non-anticipatory trigger, when it clicks, you're trained to release. Fantastic. I haven't worked with it much. Little bit. I'm too impatient. I like to just go play around with things. So yeah, that's they're very good. Definitely a good thing to use, learn to train with. In fact, Gary, who made those arrows up there that you see, those pretty colored arrows, one day I saw him in his shop, and I noticed he had a clicker on his longbow. He said, yeah, I was working with Joel a little bit and blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh, you didn't, he goes, you didn't take it off for hunting season? He said, no. He goes, I shot a doe 2 days ago to it. It never heard the clicker. So yeah, clickers are a very good tool. Very good tool.
Go through the entire bow rack behind you on the next stream. Talk about the pros and cons of each bow.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That would take days.
We could do that. We don't know which bows will be there. Right now, there's only long bows and that rack and Leafs recurve. Black Eagle Instinct. Undertone Outdoors. I've been shooting them for a year now. Excellent. If you could quickly say, what do you like about them best? Are you shooting the 9/32 or 5/16 points? We were discussing that earlier. I'm going to go with the 5/16 easy pull, I believe. And so these are more things. I'll let you know what my feelings are after I shoot them. I like the way that looks like it's going to work out just dandy. And that's a 5/16 easy pull with a 100 grain insert up front. It's going to have a lot. No matter what you put on here, it's going to be front of center. That baby forces you into a good FOC with that 100 grain insert. No matter what point you put on there, you're going to have a high FOC. What you doing there, Leaf? So, coming up on an hour and 20 minutes. There's no more immediate questions. We've got these inserts bonded on here. Put some points on them. Go try those out tomorrow. See how they fly. The trick is which bow to use. Was going to use my 76er. These might be a little light for my 76er. And they might be a little thin. That tends to shoot a little bit to the right. What bow? Maybe I'll bring a couple bows. Maybe a long bow. Which bows to shoot? We'll think about that. I'll sleep on that. Well, folks, thank you very much for hanging out with me and asking me questions, keeping me entertained while I was bonding these inserts in. Thank you to tech support back there. You all have a great night. And we've got 19 on. Signing off. Peace out. Have a good night.
You have to click end stream.
End stream. Good night, everybody. Well,
You have to click end.
and again. Good night. Good night from Norway.